guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to film my favorites video for you guys. I know I haven't been super consistent with getting favorites videos up every single month, and I've explained this before in like the past that I have not been shopping. I haven't been hitting up Sephora and Ulta and all those places like I used to. So therefore I don't have that many new and exciting things to share with you. But I feel like I do have a good amount of products here that I've been really loving, really enjoying, and I've been capitalizing on. And they are new mostly, so they're going to be new to you as well. Therefore, this video will be a little bit more fun and exciting than a favorites that was just thrown together just to say like I filmed the favorites. So yeah, I'm going to share with you like about 10 products more or less that I've just been absolutely loving and they've been working for me. And I also have one product that I can live without. So yeah, I'm going to get started with foundation. So the first of which is going to be this foundation from Wet n Wild. This is the Photo Focus foundation and I am in the shade Caramel. And you guys, this foundation is bomb.com. It is amazing. This retails for about $5.99 at Walmart. That's the only place that I've seen it personally. And you guys, it is so good. I just cannot believe how great of a foundation it is for the price point. If you watch my channel, you know I'm a little bit bougie with my makeup and I like more of the higher end products, and that's because it is my personal preference. I like eyeshadows that are a little bit more higher end because I feel like they're better quality. And foundations, I feel like in the drugstore you're not getting a huge deal because I've seen foundations in the drugstore for as much as $15, and I feel like that's kind of a ripoff. It's not really a steal to me because you can go to MAC and spend $5 more and get like a Studio Fix fluid, which I think is like a better quality foundation than the drugstore in my opinion. So that's why I don't really gravitate towards drugstore items. But this, you guys, this right here has been the jam. But for me, the thing that is the selling point to this is that the coverage is phenomenal. It gives me such great coverage and it feels very lightweight on the skin. Its longevity is phenomenal because I've worn this to work, and you know, if you watch my channel, I work 13-hour shifts more or less. So when I wear foundation, if it could last through my work day, I know it's a keeper. Especially if it doesn't break up or settle into weird fine lines for me. I think that's another selling point. And this foundation didn't do that. And it's got a satin finish, I want to say. I do set mine with a powder just because in the summer months I tend to get a little bit more oily in my T-zone. So I do set my foundations. And I feel like when I wear this to work, it's not till the last 2 to 3 hours that I see that I'm getting a little bit more oily in my T-zone. So I think that's definitely a selling point too. So when I went to Walmart, the color I got was golden beige, and that was the deepest shade they had. And I think Walmart had about 5 shades, which I think is pretty shitty because on the Wet n Wild website, I want to say they had 25 to 28 shades and they covered all skin tones. So they had like really fair all the way to like deeper complexion. So I thought that was great, but it is really crappy that Walmart doesn't carry that. They only carry 5 colors. And when I say they had like a really light shade that wasn't too fair, like a medium light shade, and then they had the deepest was called golden beige, which was a medium tan shade, and that's the shade I got, and it was too fair for me. I had to mix in deeper foundations to darken it up and give me the perfect color match. So shame on you, Walmart, because it's such a great product and I've seen that it's been sold out a lot, and I just feel like they can capitalize on business and just cater towards more women of different complexions if they carried more shades, you know? So I did purchase mine on Amazon. They had it on Amazon Prime, and it's the same price as Walmart. And they even had some shades that were a tad bit cheaper, depending on your skin complexion. So that's definitely a plus. So if you can't find it at your Walmart or wherever store you shop at, try Amazon because they pulled through for me in this caramel shade. And the caramel is a perfect color match for me. So the next item I'm going to share with you, also from the drugstore, is this Neutrogena Healthy Skin Brightening Eye Perfector. This has been really good. I've been using this so much. You can see that it's almost done. It's like right here. I want to say I probably have like 5 to 8 more clicks of this and it'll be finished. So I use this on the daily, especially going to work, because I think that it gives you really great coverage. It's not really so much a brightening concealer as it claims, but it is a great concealer because it gives me really great coverage without being too heavy. I think it gives you a very natural concealed eye, and I love that for work, and I've just been using it a lot. Another thing I use it for is when I apply a cut crease to my lids. This is the concealer that I'm usually using to cut the crease and to clean up the area on my lids. It creates a really nice base for any eyeshadow that I'm going to place on top of it. So I've really been enjoying it. I think this retails for about $10 more or less. Neutrogena is a little bit more on the pricier side, I think, when it comes to drugstore products, but this one has been bomb. So the next concealer I'm going to be sharing with you, also drugstore, is from Garnier. This is the Skin Renew Anti-Dark Circle Roller in Medium Deep. I've had this forever. When I tell you forever, I want to say I've had this for about 5 years, more or less. And this is one of my first makeup products that I started to buy. I've always had a ton of eyeshadows, but I bought this a while ago, and that's because Jaclyn Hill mentioned it in one of her tutorials. And pretty much back in the day, anything that Jaclyn mentioned, I had to have. So this is one of the products, and I haven't used this in ages, but I whipped it out on a whim. I was like, you know what, I haven't used this in for a long time. Let me try this guy out. So I tried it out, and I actually really like it. It's really good. I think this is pretty cheap. I think it's like $5 or so. It covers up my dark circles fairly well. I mean, it's not going to give you the most perfect cover up, but it's a really nice lightweight concealer. So if you're someone who doesn't have too much discoloration and you just want a brightening but concealing concealer, this is definitely the one for you if you want something a little bit more affordable. I love it. I mean, sometimes I use this on its own. Sometimes I will use this below concealer just to kind of brighten that area up and give myself a tad bit more coverage, but I like it a lot. It's really convenient. It's got a little bit of a orange tint to it, so I feel like it kind of helps with me to color correct that discoloration underneath my eyes. So I really like this. I didn't know how great it was until now because I had it for so long and I just kind of forgot about it, and now I'm like, this is pretty bomb, and I've used some really great concealers. Now, moving on from that, I'm going to share with you a highlighting blush palette. This one is from Urban Decay. This is their recently launched Jean-Michel Basquiat. I'm butchering his name, but it's from some guy who came up with this, and I guess he's like some sort of artist or designer, whatever it is, and they recently launched this. I want to say they launched this about a month ago, and it's already on sale, you guys. And that is especially why I'm including it here on my channel, because this palette comes with 4 cheek products, 1 highlighter, 2 blushes, and 1 that's probably a bronzer. It works as a bronzer for me, or it could be a blush if you're a little bit deeper in complexion. But this palette is bomb, you guys, like bomb.com. Bomb. I love it. I think I bought this on Macy's for $25. I know it's still available on Sephora. I think it was originally like $35 or so. And this palette has got such great pigmentation. The bronzer is a bronzer for me. That is a definite plus, because I feel like sometimes bronzers just don't work for me. They're at my skin tone, if not lighter, and they don't do anything for me. Especially in palettes, I feel like they cater towards lighter complexion people, but this one works really well for me. I get my bronze, I get my blush, and the highlight is bomb. So I will show you what they look like on the back of my hand. This is the highlight, and it's pretty beaming, and it looks so good on the skin. Look at how gorgeous that is. And I put 1 finger in, and I got such a heavy swatch. This is the blush, which is very creamy, very pigmented. This is a baby pink. I don't know if you can see it that well, but that's it right there. They're super buttery on the skin, and I like that about it. So this blush, even though it looks like a bubblegum pink here, it looks pretty neutral when applied to the skin. It's not as scary. And this mauve shade, which is just screaming my name because I love a mauve blush, is so pretty as well. There it goes right there. And lastly, the bronze shade, which I'm so thankful for, was dark enough on my skin tone. There it goes right there. I don't know if you can really see it. There you go. So that is the whole palette swatched on the back of my hand. And I definitely suggest for you guys to go get this, especially for it being Urban Decay and $25 and it's great product. Like sometimes their products can be hit or miss. Like that's just the God's honest truth. Sometimes they just mass produce things and sometimes they're like, oh, this is awesome. Sometimes they're like, oh my God, what were they thinking? You know, and I think this was something that was really great. And I was surprised how quickly it went on sale because I feel like they literally just launched this and it was already on sale. I don't know what's going on with Urban Decay. I think they're possibly having problems. I don't know, because I feel like a lot of their products are going on sale. And when I first started doing makeup and I first started watching YouTube videos, I never saw anything from Urban Decay on clearance or sale. So I don't know, that was kind of sucky when you think about it, but this palette, definitely go out and get it. I've been loving it. So keeping on with cheek products, I'm going to share with you the California Box Blush by Benefit. I love this, you guys. Benefit killed it with this box blush. This is my favorite box blush they've ever released, and this is a golden coral shade. It's like a golden peachy coral shade, if that makes any sense. It came with a gold topping, but I feel like it has these finely milled flecks of gold in the actual blush, but it looks so good on the skin. I will see if I can swatch it for you. It is so nice. It's so pigmented, and I just love the way it's able to pair well with so many different things. So there it goes right there. I love it, you guys. It feels so nice on the skin. I think it applies so well. And it's just such a beautiful, stunning, stunning color. I just think they did a great job. I'm usually not a huge fan of their box blushes, but this one, they killed it. Like, I think they did such a great job. And I definitely feel like if you want to try something new, or if you want to try a color that's not going to be too much, I promise you, it's not as shocking as it looks in the pan. It is so good. You will definitely enjoy this one. Now, moving on from that, I'm going to share with you a loose setting powder that I have been loving. I've been using it non-stop, and this is from Cover FX. This is the Cover FX matte setting powder. I had included this in my haul, and I purchased this because I went on a trip to Minnesota and I forgot my setting powder, which I don't know how I did. I was a little tipsy when packing my makeup bag. I'm not even gonna lie. I was like having some wine with my husband, and then I forgot that I had to pack my makeup bag, and I just threw stuff in a bag and I forgot like 5 things. So that just goes to show how unfocused I was while packing. So this setting powder comes with this really great kind of lid built into it. Woo. And this basically keeps the product contained, and you can see here there's some setting powder at the top, and you just kind of close it and it kind of just shuts, and it's spill proof once you close that little area. And then it comes with a twist off cap. And the reason why I purchased this when I was in Minnesota was because they had a light, they had a medium, and then they had a dark. And I thought that was really creative of them, because I see that most setting powders are translucent and only come in one shade. But one shade doesn't work for all skin tones, as you may know. So I feel like sometimes some setting powders come off a little bit ashy. They might be a little bit too bright underneath my complexion, and I know that if you're deeper in skin tone, it won't work for you either. So I love that they had a variety to cater towards different skin complexions. But this one, even though it was medium, I thought that was going to work well for me, because I feel like the lighter ones can be just a tad bit too light. But this medium one was at my skin tone, so it didn't brighten up that under eye area like I really wanted it to, unfortunately. But I love it for setting my face. But this is really great. It keeps me matte for a super long time. I think that it really lives up to its claim of a matte setting powder. It keeps my foundation really locked in with any foundation that I've paired it with, and I just feel like it doesn't look powdery on the skin. So moving on from that, I'm going to share with you a liner that I've been loving. So I have mentioned in, I think it was a tutorial or a video, I can't really remember right now off the top of my head, but I have been loving nude liner in my waterline. Like today I'm wearing nude, and I used to be like die hard like black liner in my waterline only. I'm not wearing colors, I'm not wearing nude. It is black till the day I die. And no, I lied, because I've been loving nude liner. I prefer it over black now, and I pair with so many different looks, and I just feel like it makes me look so much more awake. It makes my eyes look a little bit bigger, even though my eyes aren't like super small. I just love the way it looks, and it's just very easy on the eyes, especially if you want a more natural look. And you can smoke out your lower lash line and still give that depth without having the harshness of the black in your waterline. But there are definitely some looks that you do need black liner for. The one that's been working best for me and just stays in my waterline forever and ever is the NARS. This is in the shade Rue Bonaparte, and I have included this in tutorials here on my channel. I've just been loving it so much. It is so beautiful. It's not like stark. I know some people like to use white in their waterline, but that doesn't work for me. It just looks a little bit too opaque and too bright. But I think the nude really works well for me, and it gives me that same effect as the white will on other people. But I think with my complexion, the nude works a little bit best. I have one from MAC that is the same color, but I feel like the NARS one just lasts a little bit better in my waterline. And I've just been using this to its max the last couple months. Okay, so now I'm going to share with you 2 lip products. The first of which is from MAC. This is a lipstick, a cream sheen lipstick in the color Magic Spell. I bought this during the holidays when they had the holiday bundles. It came with this, it came with a lip liner, it came with a vamp something lip gloss, and I love all 3 of them. But this lipstick has been in my purse for forever, since I pretty much got the kit in December. And this is like the most perfect nude lipstick. It pairs well with everything. I literally can count on this lipstick to go with anything I have on. So that is the lipstick right there. You see that it's got a nice sheen to it. It's very hydrating on the lips. I'm a huge fan of MAC lipsticks, and this is like a brownie mauve. It's pretty as can be on the lips. Like, it just is perfect. Let me see. I just love this shade. Like, sometimes I will go out of the house with a different lip color, and I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna wear this lip color, and I'm not gonna wear the one that I have in my purse, which is this guy. And I will have it on for like maybe an hour. Then I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna throw on the MAC lipstick, because it does great things for me. Like, it just works with me. It works with everything that I have on, and it always matches whatever look I pair it with. So I feel like this is a very versatile lipstick. It's so gorgeous, very hydrating, and I feel like it just pairs well with so many different things, so you can't go wrong with this shade. The next lip product I have been loving, and I've been killing this, is the Gerard Cosmetics Color Your Smile lip gloss in the color Nude. Now, if you watch YouTube, you know that Gerard Cosmetics, I want to say about 3 years ago, was the hype. Like, everybody and their mom spoke about Gerard Cosmetics. Gerard Cosmetics, Gerard Cosmetics. You have to try their lip glosses. They're the best lip glosses on the market. Like, I just remember that being like the constant thing, hearing over and over and over again, and I was like so over it. I never even had any of their products, but one day I was on HauteLook and they had the lip glosses for super cheap, so I got like 10 shades because they were so affordable, and I was like, okay, I love a discount, and now's my time to try it, pretty much. And I've had these for forever. I want to say about probably like 3 to 4 years in my collection, and I never really use them. Don't know really why. They kind of just sat there, and one day I was doing my makeup and I wanted a nude lip gloss, and I pulled this one. I'm like, I haven't used these in a while. So I pulled out the Nude and I tried it on, and I loved it. Like, I was like, oh, this is really nice. And I love this. This pairs so well with my skin tone. Sometimes nudes can be very at my skin tone, make me look ashy, make me look dead. Like, I just don't get along with certain nude shades. But this one works well for me. And it's got a light in the applicator, and it's also got a mirror, which was like a huge sales pitch for them, but it actually comes into use. So it's very handy. And I'll swatch it for you here on my hand so you can see what it looks like. But this has been, along with that lipstick, my go-tos. Like, I can literally pair this with whatever and I know I'm gonna be okay. So that is a lip gloss. You can see how ultra pigmented it is. It looks so pigmented, and that's one swipe. So that just goes to show. And when you pair it with Spice Lip Liner from MAC, you have yourself the perfect combination. The only thing I will say that's negative about it is that it smells cheap. Like, it has a terrible smell to it, like chemicals, like, ugh. It just smells like little kid lip gloss, like from when I was a little kid, like that really cheap lip gloss your parents used to buy you just to shut you up and get you something real cheap. I feel like that's what it smells like. That's what it reminds me of, at least. Okay, now moving on from that, I'm going to share with you a mascara. So this mascara is from Lancome. This is the mascara in Hypnose Drama. I love this mascara, you guys. I have gotten like 4 samples of these, and that's why I haven't bought the full-size version of it. I went to Ulta one time and I was telling the girl, like, oh, I really love this mascara you guys gave me as a sample one time. It's been awesome. I'm like, I don't really remember who made it, and she's like, is it Lancome? And I'm like, yeah, I think it is Lancome. And she gave me like 3 more samples, so I was like, yes. Like, she was the tits to me that day because she hooked it up. But this is the wand right here. I showed it to you in my last tutorial because this is the mascara I use to apply on my lashes. It is so nice, you guys. You know, if you watch my channel, that I'm not a huge fan of false lashes. So for me, it is really important to have a good mascara that is going to coat my lashes and do it really well. And I feel like this one gives me volume, and it just applies the product so nicely on the lashes, and it makes them look so full and so big. Okay, so the next product I want to share with you guys is this Smashbox Primer Water. This has been a staple in my collection for a really long time, and I've been enjoying this. Did I include this in my last favorites video? Oh man, I think I did. Anyways, I'm gonna share it with you again. Whatever, I'm sorry. So this Smashbox Primer Water has been the jam for me. I use it all the time. I use it to apply my highlight if I feel like it's not beaming enough. I use it to apply on eyeshadows that I feel like are not picking up good color pigmentation. I want them to pop. I use this to set my face. I use this to prime my face. I use this more to set my face at the end because I just feel like when I apply this, especially if something looks like a little bit too powdery or it just is not sitting like 100% where I want it to be, I just cover my face in this primer water. But I know it's gonna look perfect when I apply this product and when it sets in and when it dries, because it just clings to the foundation, it clings to the powder, and it just fuses them together on the skin, and it just looks so seamless. So this has been my go-to. I'm almost done with this. I'm really sad about it, but it's a great product and I've been really enjoying it. So my skin has been on some other shit. Like, for the last couple months, I want to say that my skin was just having such bad breakouts. Like, my skin has never been perfect. I've never have been one of those girls with perfect seamless skin, without any discoloration, without any color pigmentation, without any blemishes. Like, I have all of that. I have breakouts, I have blemishes, I have dark circles underneath my eyes. Like, I have it all when it comes to skin problems. So there was a point where my face was just breaking out so much that I just could not take it anymore. Like, I would wake up every morning about 4 days of the week, 4 to 5 days a week, with a new pimple on my skin. And sometimes I'd have 2 pimples, and they were huge. Like, they weren't just any pimples, they were like pimples on steroids, and they were haunting me. So I remember that I had used this Glamglow face wash when it first launched, and my skin had cleared up so nicely and it was doing so well. And I do have a lot of texture on my skin, and I felt like it really helped with the texture on my skin, and I loved it. But it is a little bit pricier, and I think that Origins had like a really great sale, and I bought like 2 or 3 face washes because I love their face washes as well. But let me tell you guys, no matter what face wash I use, nothing clears my skin up the way that this Glamglow mask does. So this is the Glamglow face wash, not mask, sorry. This is in the Supercleanse Daily Clearing Cleanser. It is in the white packaging. they're currently on sale at Sephora because I feel like they're repackaging, and I got really lucky and I went to the cosmetic company outlet on Memorial Day weekend, and they had 50% off the whole store, and they had like 4 of these and they were retailing for $31, so I got them for $15. So I hit the jackpot. I literally bought every single one on the shelf because I was like, I will never find a deal like this again, and I love this so much. So I will definitely say that I've been using this for about a month or so, like a month and a half, and I have seen such a huge difference in my skin. And I think that if you like go back to like about a month and a half or 2 months ago and 3 months ago, you will see what I'm talking about in my tutorials and in my videos. You'll see that I have visible breakouts and they're there, and it's not like I'm wearing any less makeup or any more makeup. I just feel like they were just coming regardless of what was going on, whether I had my period, whether I didn't have my period. Like, I just feel like the breakouts were out of control, and I had to go back to this because it is something that truly works for me. I will pay because I am just so much happier when my skin is clear, and not just that, I just think it's healthier because it really detoxes my skin and it gets out those impurities and it gets out the bacteria and anything that causes breakouts for me, and it just works so well. I don't know what's in their formulation, but it is just the best that I can tell you is on the market right now. Especially if you have problematic skin, I suggest it to everyone, and anyone I have suggested it to and they have problem skin, they have problem areas in their skin, or they have a lot of breakouts, they tell me, you know what, it's really expensive, but I did see the difference. So I'm kind of at that point, especially with my skincare, and I feel like with age, my skin is not as good as it used to be, and I'm getting discoloration, and it's not good to have breakouts on your skin because obviously, at least me at least, I just want to pop them as soon as they come, and it makes discoloration. So I'm tired of having those blemishes on my skin. I've had like one on my cheek, I think it's this cheek or this cheek, one of them, that it just will not go away. Like, it's slowly getting lighter and lighter, but it's from like a really stubborn, I think I had like 3 pimples in the same spot, and it just, they were like one after the other and whatever. So this has been a lifesaver for me. You guys go out and get this. If you have problematic skin, you will thank me in about a month after using this because you will see the difference. I guarantee it. So if you truly wash your face and you take off all your makeup every night and use it twice a day, you will see results, I promise you. So the last product that I want to include in my favorites video is one that was actually sent to me. This is from a company called Scentbird, and it's based in New York. And they sent me an email saying like they had this product and they wanted to share it with me. And they sent me like a list of different fragrances I could choose from. And then they sent it to me with a little pamphlet about their company and what they're about. And I did read this, and I received this about 2 months ago. And it came in this like velvet casing. And when you open it up, it comes with a aerator. And it twists up like this, and this is how you disperse the product. You just press and boom, the product will come out. And the way this works is it is a subscription. I think it's about $15. Don't quote me. I should have probably looked this up before coming on here and talking about it. But I think it's about $15 or $16. And every month you get a new fragrance. And they have 450 different fragrances you can choose from. And the size of it is comparable to a rollerball that would probably retail for about $30. So I thought that was a really great selling point for their company. And it comes with this aerator that is reusable, so you can monthly throw this one out if you're done with it, or just put it to the side if you're not quite done with it or you didn't like it, and then place the new one in here. So when this company emailed me, I really looked into it before I did reply to them, and I have offers to send me products, but usually they're kind of crappy, and I'm like, I'm not gonna sit here and take like a crappy product so I can speak to you guys about it. That's just not me. And I just feel like right now in YouTube, kind of like a side note, I feel like things are just saturated with like selling to you guys and me, and you know, us like running out and buying it and the product being like mediocre. Or I just feel like there's just so much promotion here on YouTube, and it's not really so beauty based as it was like 4 or 5 years ago, I want to say. I just feel like a lot of people are pushing Morphe, like all these huge makeup brands, and it's kind of frustrating. So I take that into consideration when companies send me stuff and emails. Not that I get that many to begin with, but when they do, I'm like, is this worth it? Should I even like look into it? Should I even have them even waste their product and send it to me? But this one I actually believe in. I think it's a really great product. I am someone who travels very frequently. About once a month I am going somewhere, whether it be like a trip within the state or somewhere out of the states or somewhere out of the country. I am traveling at least once a month and I'm on the go. So for me, this was perfect because 9 times out of 10 I like to use a carry-on because I am a little bit cheap and I don't want to pay the $25 to check it, and I just feel like it's a little bit more convenient sometimes, especially if you're going on a really quick trip. So I know that for me, the perfume bottles that I have cannot be in my checked items, so I thought this was especially great for that, because when I went on my trip to Minnesota, I was able to throw this in my bag and it was boop, like 1, 2, 3 gone, and it wasn't like a problem. And I thought that they came with a lot of products. Like I've been using this for about 2 months and it's still not finished. And when I don't take it on a trip, I do throw it in my purse for work. It's been in my bag for work, and it's very small and compact. I want to say it's about, I don't know, about 4 or 5 inches. So it's very easy, it's very sturdy casing. And I think that the concept of this is really nice, and especially if you're someone who doesn't want to invest $80, $90 in a big perfume, this is definitely something great. You can try something out and maybe see if it works for you. I know that I personally have bought perfumes, and when I tried them on, they smelled great, but then like I spent the $90 and they don't last well on my skin, or they don't stay well, or I just kind of got tired of them. Like, let's be real, like I have probably like 15 perfumes and I use maybe 3 of them. So I just feel like this is a way to save money, especially if you're someone who's into trying different scents and you're into perfumes. I think this is cool, and you could always swap them out for something else that you have subscribed for in different months. So I really like this. I thought that was a great selling point. They're not paying me to talk about this, they just sent this to me, and I really am considering signing up for it, because if I have 450 perfumes to choose from and I'm someone who's always on the go and this works for me, like I'm sold pretty much. I just haven't signed up for it because I haven't used this, but let me just tell you that this is very convenient, and it's a tad bit easier than carrying around those samples that Sephora gives you that are like 3 sprays and then they're done. So I really like the concept of this because it's like a huge deluxe size rollerball or a huge sample, and it lasts, and I just love that you're able to test out different scents. So that was a huge selling point for me, and I've been using it so much, as you can clearly see, and I thought it was a great product. Like I was very surprised, and I think the whole concept of this is pretty cool. Like I am with it. Like that's pretty good. So now for the last product. This is the product I can live without. Now if you watch my haul here that I did, it was like 2 or 3 videos ago, I had just went to Sephora. I spent like $300. I was like, yes, I'm gonna make it rain in here, girl, today, because I had been out of Sephora for months, and it was like my breaking point, and I was like, I want this, I want this, I want that, I want that. And let me just tell you guys, I bought a lot of things, and I will say that I was so disappointed with all the products I got. Like most of the products I did return, and I did say that while doing my tutorial and while filming the haul, that I was just really on the fence about a lot of things. And 9 times out of 10, I used to keep things. Like if I was on the fence about them, I would keep them. I would return it if I really hated it, but if I was like, meh, this can work, I would keep it. Especially if it was a brand I really liked and I wanted to support. But the Stellar concealers that I showed, they sucked. I think the foundation was nice, but it was a little bit too light for me as far as covering and discolorations. It was great for summer. I had said this in my video that if you have perfect seamless skin without any discoloration and you're looking for a nice summer concealer, like that's a great one to have in your collection. But for $38 and I wasn't in love with it. I liked it, but I wasn't in love, like not enough to keep it, you know? And what else? I just pretty much returned everything. The Tarte Twinkling Lights palettes, I was going to keep that, but I thought about it and I'm like, this is $42 and I could literally only use half of it to its full capacity. Like, so I ended up returning that. I just was super disappointed because I wanted so badly to love all of those things and I didn't like them. So the only thing that I kept that I still can live without is this palette from Tarte. This is the Make Believe in Yourself palette. And this comes with, I think it's 8 eyeshadows and one more on the inner portion. And this is an eye and cheek palette. I don't know who's going to really use these shades on their cheek, but if you're feeling fancy, girl, or you're going to like some sort of festival, like then I guess you can throw this on there. But for me, it's not like going to be a cheek palette per se. So this was, I think it was $42, but then I saw that it went on sale. So I returned the one that I originally bought and then I bought it on sale on Sephora.com. Ways to get around the system or whatever. So this palette, the reason why I am keeping it for the $30 is because I loved these shades right here. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 of these shades over here, they worked well. They were pigmented, they had really great payoff. I love the color selection. They looked really nice when I used them. But these shades here were a little bit more difficult to work with. And what I figured was that these have to be applied with your fingertips. They're very similar to the Huda Beauty eyeshadows in texture. And I learned that, and that's why I'm keeping it. Because I'm like, okay, if I work with it, it will be a decent palette. But I still feel like you shouldn't have to like figure out a palette like it's a mystery. Like I feel like Sherlock Holmes here, like trying to figure out how to get the best color pigmentation from my palette. So yeah, that's like the part that I don't really love. I don't feel like you need this palette. It's not a must-have. I'm only keeping it because it was $30 and I'm like, I can work with it, and I do like some of the shades in here, and I think that half the palette's good, but you shouldn't pay $30 for something that's half good, you know what I mean? But I am. But this is definitely something I could live without. I think that if you're in the market for a new palette, don't get this one because it's not fabulous and it's not great, and they didn't kill it for me. So I would definitely spend your $30, $40 on something like the Anastasia Beverly Hills palettes because those are bomb, especially for the price point. So this concludes my favorites. I felt like I had a lot to say this video. It was very long. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm making up for lost time, and I will see you guys soon. Bye guys.